Hello, my name's Stuart Simpson. I'm the Programme Lead for Creative Media, TV and Film. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about courses and also talk a little bit about the resources that we have here. At the heart of the area, we run two courses, two level 3 courses, as well as a level 2. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about the level 3 courses. The Creative Media Level 3 is a course that covers everything in the creative media industry. So we're talking about moving image, we're talking about photography, we're talking about graphic design, we're talking about writing copy, being a journalist, as well as also being a researcher. And I'm sure I've probably missed out some other things as well. But the creative media course, the level 3, is very, very broad. So therefore, we need to have, for each of those different subject areas, the right equipment. And for all those subject areas, one of the main things that we have here, or you have access to, is the software, the Adobe package. So a lot of people, a lot of students, for example, are familiar with Photoshop, and it's something that a lot of people have access to and know how to use. But as well as that, there's obviously Premiere, InDesign, as well as an animating program as well. So, as I say, on the course, it's very broad, it's very wide-ranging, and we have, as I suppose, as a unique selling point, we kind of like got lots of connections with organisations and people outside of the college, because as a course, or as both courses are very vocational, meaning that they're very hands-on. So we have people like Amit Gupta, who's a director and writer who's written feature films, who comes in and does talks for our TV and film and also for creative media students. We have a TV and film company called Bad Shoes with Keith Allett coming in. He talks a lot about filmmaking. And then we have other organisations that we work with, such as the LCB Depot and also the Phoenix Digital. I mean, the one good thing with regards to Leicester College and where we are is that we're in the city centre. So therefore, we've got easy access to a lot of the talent that exists in the city. So as well as the software, the hardware, we're going to be looking at some of the hardware later, some of the editing suites. But in this space, let's talk a little bit about this space. This is the space in which you will be doing lots of research, a little bit of writing, a little bit of planning, having discussions about creative media, because it wouldn't be a course unless we kind of like got you introduced to the industry itself, talking a little bit about how the industry works and how all the different industries under the creative media umbrella could work together, TV and film, radio, and also the graphic design and advertising industry. So in this space, it's a hub of activity normally. Obviously, there's no one here at the moment, but generally we have lots of discussions, lots of talk a little bit about theory as well. So within this space, obviously, it's full of computers, and you get the opportunity, as I say, to write and do research, as well as writing and research. On the course, you'll be doing presenting in a similar way to what I'm doing here. Talking to an audience, and we give you, let's say, the skills to be able to do that, to stand in front of an audience and to communicate. We also run activities or give you the skills to do presenting for TV as well, which we may look at very shortly, our green screen room with a teleprompter and obviously the lighting that goes with it. And also on the course, we also teach you the skills to put together a radio program as well. So as well as video, as well as radio, writing, it's a very, very broad course. We also, as I say, have a TV and film specialism, which is pretty much that, focusing on TV and film. Now I'm trying to think about anything else to say. So I'm going to ask my my assistant to remind me of what else I could talk about.
So what is the practical to written work done?
I mean, that's a really good question, and I think it's important that students know that at the heart of the courses, is practice. It is hands-on, and we do, as I've already said, teach you a lot of skills that cover a lot of areas. But in terms of the ratio, over the, in the first year, there probably is about 60-40, 60 practical and maybe 40 written. Okay, because I think really at the end of the day, when you think about it, creative media is about communication. And it's really important that you're able, as a student, to to communicate in lots of different ways, not just creating stories for film, but also writing stories or using writing for magazines. And here we have some examples of projects that students have worked on before in the second year. Putting together magazines, which include obviously all the photographs and all the text and all the layouts and all the graphic design. So, it's at its heart, it's very, very practical. But as I say, you will be writing reports as well as presenting material, in presentations. Okay.
Amazing. Well, we're talking a little bit about hardware, and I think we'll head over to the other room and
Yeah.
have a look at some of
Okay.
the hardware.
Right. Okay. So, if you'd like to come this way, leave this very, very computer-orientated space. This is our moving image space, in which you've got editing equipment, editing suites, and there's two there, as we can see. Obviously, it's full of lighting. It's professional setup, and in that room over there, you've got more editing suites as well. So we've got quite a few spaces in which students will be editing their moving image. Okay, obviously lighting rigs as well. One thing also to mention here, obviously we've got green screen in this space, as well as another green screen room, which is very important when you're obviously doing pieces to camera.
And will students need to have their own cameras and some?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, it's always useful when a student has got passion for, for moving image or photography or for graphic design, for any of these things. But it's not something that's necessary, for the course. I mean, as I said earlier, if you've got a computer, from at home, and obviously at this moment in time, it's important to have a computer. You will be able to use all the software that we provide. You'll be able to download the Premiere suite to do work at home, whether it's editing your video or working on your graphic design piece.
Fantastic. I think James has prepared a little micro teaching demonstration. So we'll have a minute.
Hi, I'm a guest. So my name is James. I'm the video lecturer at the college on a number of courses, but today we're talking about creative media course and film and TV course. So on the creative media course and the film and TV course, you do a number of video modules. You will do more on the film and TV course, obviously, particularly in the second year, where your creativity is really allowed to kind of just flow, and much more so. They're doing what's called a portmanteau project this year, where they make a number of short films and they have to tie them all together with a single theme or framing device. But when you make your video courses, videos, as you will on this particular course, we do different types of videos, and one thing that's essential on all of those types of videos is sound. Sometimes perhaps overlooked, but the fact is that average images can be saved by really good sound. So we do try to encourage the use of a number of different types of microphone, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of their qualities now that will help you with your filmmaking. So the first type of microphone that we have is the one that is probably on your mobile phone and also built into a camera, right? So that would be a stereo microphone, which is recording all of the sound around us, the ambient sound. So that's great, and for a number of uses, it is quite useful. But the problem with it is it doesn't differentiate between sounds, so it can't know what particular sounds you want it to record. So it just records everything. So it's okay, but it's not really. So sometimes we have to look at other kinds of sounds. So we've got something here. You've probably seen one of these. Okay, so dynamic or cardioid microphone. coming from the Greek word for heart, meaning that it's recording like a heart shape. All right, so it's recording outwards and not downwards. And we obviously use these for singers on the news, etc., but not great for drama because it'll be in the shot. So that's one type of microphone we've got. Another kind of microphone we've got is this one here. So you may have seen these on documentaries or in the news. So this is a Lavalier mic or a tie clip mic, and that just pops onto your shirt like that and records whatever you say. So again, similar to that, very useful for nice, clear, crisp sound. However, not great for drama because we can see it. And I think one really useful piece of thing to remember is we don't want to see sound, we want to hear it. So ideally, we don't want to see the microphone in the shot. Even in a documentary, perhaps you might opt not to use one of these, but nevertheless, they're great sound, but we can see them. So that's a Lavalier mic. Another kind of mic we've got here is the shotgun mic. All right, so this records in the direction that you point it. Unlike the one that was on this camera, which is recording all around, this is going to be a bit more directional. So it'll record in the direction that you point it, and we'll get a little bit off axis, but not too much. So that means if we were interviewing somebody and they had a busy street behind them, it would record all of the busy street as well. So we might want to turn it around away from the street. So that is a directional microphone, shotgun mic. As is this, but this is on a stick, otherwise known as a boom. And this is obviously bigger and therefore more direct. So you'll see sound operators holding it up, down like that, to try and record the best possible sound. So that is the boom mic. Now this can record straight into the camera, but quite often we might actually want to record sound separately, and we can record straight into one of these, which is a portable sound recorder. And the nice thing about one of these is it allows your sound operator to concentrate purely on sound, and they can be where they need to be, and the camera operator to record purely on the camera, concentrate on the images. But that means you've got two separate recordings. So you've got a sound recording, perfect, on here ideally, recorded to the right levels. We won't go into levels today, but you will be able to operate, check the levels, and you would need to set them according to your sound. So you've got your perfect sound recording here. You've got your Steven Spielberg behind the camera, who's got some lovely images for us. And now, of course, we've got to bring the two together. So how do we do that? So, well, before you would have recorded anything, you would have used one of these. So I'm sure you've all seen one of these. So this comes from the old days of film, and of course, film doesn't record sound. So you record sound separate. And this is a syncing device. So when you come to edit, you've not only got something that tells you what scene it is, you've also got that crucial sound where you can sync this, the sound that you've got in here, the sound that you've got in here, and you've got perfect sound. Really important. The basic, if you take one thing away from today, I think it's that you've got to get the microphone as close as you can to the sound you're trying to record. If you keep that in mind, you'll always get reasonably good sound. And the other thing, of course, is to use the set. Well,
Well, thank you guys so much for talking about creative